All right, everyone. So we have a big divisional matchup, the Eagles versus the New York Giants. And this is going to be a big one because you have two things here. On one hand, we have a Eagles team that's coming off a loss and is trying to get itself right. At the end of the day, this is a team that's 4-1, but it feels like they're 1-4 by the way the media and everybody talks about them. So this is a perfect get right spot for the Philadelphia Eagles. On the flip side, the New York Giants, they looked really good against the Chargers. Even against the Saints, I thought for large portions of the game, they showed great improvement from what we've seen. The problem was they kept fumbling the football. If they don't fumble the football, they probably win that game. So I think this is a really big divisional game because it's going to set the stage for both of these teams' seasons, right, for the rest of the year. The Eagles, they get a big win here. I think it will set them on a path to getting right and figuring some things out. The New York Giants, if they keep this thing close or find a way to win, I think the Giants might have by losing have sold their playoff chances out, but I think that it will be a huge change in the way we view the New York Giants. So let's get right into it and give our betting preview. Let's start by giving the odds. So the Giants are +7, but it is at +100. So my guess is you could move this line. I'm trying. Can we? I want to just give you guys an accurate. Okay, so 7.5 goes to minus 127. So you're probably, you could do either one. It's pretty kind of actually annoying that it's like that, but it's fine. It's at +7 at +100. Total for the game is 40.5. On the money line, the Eagles are -360 and the Giants are +285. So, one thing when we're looking at this game, I think one of the big things that the Eagles are dealing with right now is injuries in key spots, and especially on that offensive line. We've seen Dickerson, right? He's somebody who has been absolutely phenomenal for them, and he's out. And when he goes out of the game, right? When he leaves the game, because he's been in and out of the lineup, he plays in the game, gets hurt, he gets taken out, comes back in. When he's not in there, this team does not have the same pass protection, run protection as when he is not. So that to me is going to be a telling thing here of can that Giants defense take advantage of that? Because if they can, this is going to stay close, right? If that Giants defense can make life miserable for Jalen Hurts, then 7 points is going to be tough to cover when you don't have that pass blocking. On Saquon, look, Saquon, he put a beating on the Giants when they played him last year. But here's the issue: Saquon is dealing with a little bit of soreness, I guess, and they're kind of downplaying it a little bit. But to me, it just feels like one of those things where we're getting to a point where Saquon's dealing with injuries, and if Saquon Barkley is not at full strength, if he is not fully healthy, and the Eagles can't rely on him like they have last year, this is going to be tough, right? And it's going to be tough against this Giants defense. On the flip side, the same story can be told about the Eagles defense here because the Eagles defense, they might have an ability to really do some damage to this Giants offense. One of the most frustrating things for Giants fans, I think, if you were watching that game against the Saints, is that there were a lot of really good things that were done, but you had drops, you had fumbles, you felt like you had more bad play calling after they come out and they score two touchdowns. These are things that are really frustrating because it's been going on for Giants fans for about a decade. I mean, this is kind of the frustrating part, and it doesn't matter who you get in there to coach, doesn't matter who your quarterback is. It's like rinse, repeat, same results. And so this to me is going to be where the game comes down: is which defense is going to impose their will more on the opposing offense. Obviously, the Eagles have a ton more um, you know, talent on their offense, right? They have a better quarterback, they have a better running back, they have better receivers, they have a better offensive line. Okay, they have a all around better team on the better team, but also better offense than the Giants' offense. The issue is if that offensive line is not at full strength and that defense of the Giants can make life miserable, we're going to be keeping this game close, right? That's the bottom line. And so that's why I'm taking a risk here. I am going to be going with the Giants +7. And I wouldn't be scared, this might seem crazy, to sprinkle a little bit of the money line. The reason for that is I'm just really nervous about this Eagles team, and I don't want to be one of those people that looks at a team that's 4-1 and the sky's falling and all of this. It has nothing to do, in my opinion, with the talent that they have. I have a lot of concern about the injuries that they have already suffered. And the way I'm looking at this is the Giants have two games against the Eagles coming up. Okay, they have the Eagles this week, then they have the Broncos, then they have the Eagles after that. And I think over the next 3 weeks, when I'm betting these games, I am undoubtedly going to be betting the the Giants in both. Maybe, well, it depends. If they win this, maybe I won't bet them the second time, but on the +7 and potentially even the money line because I think the Giants are just going to be live here. I think when the Eagles when they're in a situation, right, where we're watching them, their offensive line is struggling, maybe Saquon isn't at his max ability, we're not talking about them even winning outright. We're just talking about covering that +7, and I think this is a perfect opportunity for the Giants to shock some people at home. Now don't get me wrong. This could be everybody's kind of down on the Eagles. The Eagles come in and just run the Giants over. But I think the Giants understand that more than anything, this is last week you could argue it was their season. This is their season. An embarrassing performance here from the New York Giants probably gets Dayball fired. I would not be shocked if that got Dayball fired if this is embarrassing because you'll be 1-5. The season will be done. I mean, the season feels like it's done now, but 1-4, maybe there's something right that you can at least make it interesting for yourself down at the end. 1-5, you're probably done, right? You're done, and so I like the Giants here. I like a big fight. I think when you look at how that defense has played all year, there's some problems still on the back end, right? There's some problems on the back end, but when we talk about that front, those D linemen, they cause havoc. And we've just seen when the Eagles' offensive line is not at full strength, it shows. It shows in the run game, it shows in the pass game, and the Giants, if they could get if Jackson Dart can make a few plays, right? If they could not turn the ball over, I think they'll have a chance to be in this and cover the spread. So thank you all for watching.